So tonight's call, we will be summarizing over the last couple of weeks some of the things we would have discussed. Really and truly, we'll be discussing mindset, but we would be talking about right thinking, because right thinking is categorized within the category of mindset. So we're going to really talk a little bit about that in terms of what it is so that you can have a greater understanding. I want to welcome everyone for being on this call. You like my hat? I'm kind of dressed up like Carnival because this weekend is Carnival in TNT. It's one of the greatest cultural festival on this planet over the weekend. A lot of things happening, Panorama Finals, Calypso, and so on. A lot of stuff happening. So for those of you who have never been to Trinidad Carnival, I'm not advertising, but it's really an experience that you should experience if it is once in your lifetime. So we're moving forward tonight with regards to team meetup. Let me just share the screen so that you guys can see what's happening here. So can everyone see my screen just to be sure? And can everyone hear my voice? If you can hear me, just drop a 1 in the chat. Just let me know that you're hearing me and that you're also seeing my screen. Right. Thanks, Lily, Julian. Wonderful. So we are talking about what is right thinking. And in my humblest view, what do you think is right thinking? What, in your humblest opinion, is right thinking? So I'm going to be talking just for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes max, and then I'm going to open up the lines, and we're going to have a number of persons here who are going to be adding value to the community in terms of letting us know their thoughts, their feelings, whatever they want to contribute as it relates to tonight's theme, or anything for that matter that perhaps is very important, because I think it's important for us to have a conversation. So you are welcome. I'm not going to call anybody to unmute their mic, but you are welcome. If you want to add anything in the next 20 minutes, you have the opportunity to be able to do so. So when we really look at right thinking, what really comes to mind? I think one of the things that really comes to mind when we're really looking at right thinking is really mindset. When you really look at mindset, you really think about what you are thinking within a context. It's all about brain change. It is the operating system of our true north, our true compass. Our mindset really affects and determines the thoughts we are thinking. It is affecting the emotions because our thoughts affect our emotions, and our emotions affect the actions. So we have all experienced all of these things thousands of times in our lifetime, because every single day we have well over, believe it or not, over 80,000 plus thoughts affect ourselves. And some of them are good, majority of them may be bad and indifferent. The thing is, what drives these thoughts? Have you ever thought about it? What drives these thoughts? How do we get these thoughts to begin with? How are we affected by that? What is really happening within our state of being any time during the day? We might be exposed to something that triggers off our negative thinking. We may start to think something because something changed our modus operandi. So mindset is really about this brain change. The good thing about us is that we as human beings possess the ability to change anything at any one point in time. And that's the good news. We are going to highlight a couple of things, in my humblest opinion, that we need to really tie these loose ends over the last couple of weeks. Why? Because if you want to change something about you, you need to know some of the very important things that affect us. In the NE50 course, we talked extensively in the first week or two about having a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. And many of us at one point in time may have experienced both. And sometimes in the course of the day, you are actually a fixed mindset. And then sometimes, you change. So it's not like you're one or the other. You sometimes experience both all at the same time during the course of the day, but at different moments. And this fixed mindset is what holds us back. This fixed mindset came as a result of the mindset that we acquired when we were young. Believe it or not, in your first 7 years, a child, its neocortex is conditioned by its environment. It's conditioned by the experiences. Children in their first 7 years learn through visualization, by seeing things and experience things, because they are now coming to terms with who they are. They may not understand what they're experiencing, but they are feeling it. And many traumas that we experience as adults happened in our first 7 years. And continuing from 7 to 12 into 13, we are experiencing an extension of those traumas that we would have experienced. Sometimes the traumas may seem to an adult as being insignificant. It could have been because of how parents would have spoken to the child. The child may have seen some kind of behavior from an adult that may have warranted to say that maybe I shouldn't trust adults, or I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I just can't make the grade. It is at those particular times, believe it or not, that a child's mindset is basically shaped. For example, as you look on the screen, this is good enough. I'll never be that smart. Man, I give up. I just can't make the grade. Everybody is more intelligent. They're either better looking than me. They look better. All of these perceived excuses do we come up in our minds because these are operating programs that run within our mind, and we are seldom aware of them. And this is very dangerous because you would have gone through your adult life. You would have experienced situations and circumstances that may or may not have benefited you at any one point in time. This affects you in many areas in terms of your professional life, how you view money, how you view relationships, how you interact with other people. All of these things have a direct effect as it relates to how you are interacting with your world. And fixed mindsets do not create change or lasting change. They are the ones who are always pessimistic. And perhaps you would have been pessimistic at maybe some point in time in your life as well. Or maybe you still are. There are times in the day you perhaps may be pessimistic. And then there are other times based on maybe what you're experiencing. You could be, experiencing a growth mindset. And this is really something that's very important because we need to understand the dynamics. Of course, this short conversation is not adequate for us to pursue this. We've spoken about this a couple of weeks and still there isn't enough time. We could speak for the next year about this because it's a huge topic. It affects every area of your life. And I want you to take note because we will be visiting this as we go on in the month of March. But in the month of March, we will be discussing the psychology of money because too many times we don't really understand what money really is. And if money or the sound of money causes you to cringe, well, then you have a scarcity mindset. And then if you're looking to establish more money in your life or more resources, then you have a conflict. We're going to identify some of these things. Perhaps tonight, maybe some of the things we're going to talk about can help you to highlight some of those things that you have been experiencing in your life about growth mindset or as a fixed mindset, and how these emotions, how these ideas are playing out in your mind and how it's conflicting you. Because this trauma that I spoke about unconsciously have been affecting us ever since we were children. Based on what you were experiencing as a child, it has molded and shaped your mindset so much so that it's operating unconsciously in the background and you don't realize it. So many of us have limiting beliefs and fears about money. We'll single out money as an example, or perhaps being loved by someone else. You don't feel that you could love, maybe because your parents went through a bitter divorce. You saw conflict between adults. So in your particular mind, you view that as something that you didn't want to experience. All of these things tend to shape our behavior in how we interact with other people. And yes, internal conflict affects scarcity. It is embedded so deeper in you that you don't even know it's there. You even deny its very existence. And most of us are always in denial most of the time when it comes to that. But how do you pinpoint you're experiencing internal conflict. You're experiencing internal conflict every time you are faced in a situation where you feel bad. Anything that causes you to feel bad is an internal conflict. And what scientists and psychologists are now saying in the field is that every time you are experiencing something that's making you feel bad, chances are it is not true. It is your perception convincing yourself that it is true through your emotional response. It's unbelievable, but it is true. So every time you are feeling bad about an emotion, chances are it is not true, but you might be saying, but listen, I just got retrenched. I got laid off. I just got divorced. That's something bad that actually happened. My wife separated. We have been around for the last 20 years. Things just went crazy. Yes, we are not disputing the fact that the negativity has already happened, as the psychologist would have said. But what is happening to you is how you are internalizing what has happened. The feeling of how you are expressing yourself, your emotions, what you are actually telling yourself, that's bedded deep within you. It's a program that you would have had from before that's creating the effect. The cause would have happened many, many years ago. And situations happen in our lives that bring us to our knees at times when we are faced with these internal conflicts. And the reason why I'm single out internal conflict is if you want to be more successful in your life, in your business, you want to acquire more money, you cannot have conflict between I want more money versus I don't think I'll be able to have it. Because everything you do, as good as it will be, or perhaps is already in the present tense, will not work for you in this current unit of time because you are at war with yourself. But many times the war is not like you're on a battlefield. It comes subliminally. It comes very quietly. And it's only when you're faced in a situation that these emotional outbursts happen in terms of how you speak to someone, in terms of how you internalize money, because money is a sensitive topic for every single one on this call. Yes, believe it or not. And based on your environment, you either would have experienced lack, limitation, and in some cases, you may have experienced abundance. But majority of us would have experienced lack because our parents grew at a time when things would have probably been tight. So they did their best. And we're not disputing the fact that our parents would have loved us in whatever way. They would have made mistakes just like everybody else because parenting is on-the-job training. You can't really read a book and be totally prepared about it. So parenting comes face to face with your own personal history of your mindset. And you sometimes display things and circumstances and you may fly off your handle and all of these things. And your children may take it in a different unit of measurement and it may affect them, believe it or not. And they may develop limiting beliefs or they may come to see the world as you present it to them. You might be saying that money doesn't grow on trees. Why are you asking me? What happened? Money doesn't grow on trees. And they get this sort of subliminal programming. And then now you're confused when they are battling between that which is going to give them wealth and abundance versus something that is negative in origin. And we sometimes are the originator of those thoughts and feelings in our children. And we have to take responsibility for that. But at that point in time, you didn't know. So hence the reason why, if you want to be at peace with yourself, if you want to experience something far better, you need to appreciate the wall. There is a wall that is inside of you that is subliminally preventing you from achieving the wealth and abundance that you truly deserve, preventing you from achieving the love of your life, that someone will love you, that not all men are bad, that not all women are evil, that there is someone who's going to love you. But many times we just convince ourselves that, you know what, I've just had enough and I'm just, going to leave it as it is. And many people live like that. But we have to come face to face with our cause, not just experiencing the effect, because all of these emotions are affecting how you are going to interact with money. And this is very important because this wall represents trauma of your life. It is your inner conflict. And many times you may not have remembered those inner conflicts. But if you sit quietly and you do some introspection about yourself, you would recognize where it would have originated. And it's very important for us to understand this. Generating income versus money is hard to get. I have to sweat for it. I have to work hard. I work hard for my money. I must hold on to it. That scarcity mindset that we have. And we are sending a message out to the universe, which is your space around you. And it is affecting you, and you don't realize that it's affecting you. I want to give you a case in point that happens to me all the time. Do you know that you could actually send out a right vibe before you leave home and get the best park somewhere that you want? I've done it many times. My children have seen me do it many times. And I've learned it from my spiritual mother. She actually said, do you know that you are affecting your space? And she reminded me of that. She's 81 years old. Her birthday is on Independence Day. She lived in Canada for many, many years. And she always eloquently speaks. So if I call her and I ask her, so how are you doing, Mom? So how are you doing? I am phenomenally well, thank you. She said, please guard your words. And she was the one who actually shared a book with me called The Four Agreements. If you've never read that book, I strongly advise you to read The Four Agreements, because one of the first agreements says you must be impeccable with your words. Too many times we are not impeccable with our words because we feel that our own subconscious mind, our own self is not listening. And we feel that, oh, it's just a joke. But here's what, your subconscious mind cannot take a joke. That's the thing. So we are constantly creating our world because of our thoughts. So if you want scientific validation, it is now in the MIT Science Journal that says that thoughts are creating our world. Our mental world is shaping our physical world, not somewhere down the road, but in real time. It's just we can't see it because of where we are in this particular space. Because our perception, do you know that our five senses only sees less than 0.01% of the electromagnetic spectrum? So if we are limited in terms of what the spectrum represents, how can we truly determine what is happening? But it is happening, and we need to understand these things if we have to change the way in which we view things. David Hawkeye's book, right? There's a book called Power versus Force. There is a significant difference with power, putting power out, which is your vibratory frequency, as opposed to using physical force in your body. Because power is more powerful than force. And this concept is based on an experiment that he did on the concept of power and force. And this has been used really in physics. It really is a physics experiment. In the context of human behavior, we are now going to apply what this map of consciousness actually is. You would have seen in the top half power that has a higher frequency. The higher frequency or higher numbers represent positive emotions, well-being, love, mercy, willingness, acceptance. You realize that the highest frequency really is joy and peace, bliss, serenity. These are scientifically proven in a lab, my dear friends. So this is real science. And when you look at force, the force of being angry, fearful, grief, apathy, guilt, and shame, they have the lowest vibratory frequencies. This is the frequencies, or these are the frequencies that you are constantly putting out in your time and in your space whenever you are experiencing a fixed mindset, or every time you are going through whatever moment of your own life with those emotions. And this is constantly affecting you. So in the context of human behavior, this book by David Hawkeye's Power versus Force, it really is a determinant of human behavior. It is now proven. This has been around for a very long time. This has been around for the last 50 years. So force represents negative, debilitating emotions and attitudes. Force represents negative, debilitating emotions and attitudes. According to Hawkins, Force is associated with levels of consciousness below 200 on his map of consciousness. And this includes emotions such as shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire, anger, and pride. And all of those stem from trauma as well. Power, on the other hand, represents positive emotions, empowering attitudes. It is associated with higher levels of consciousness that are above 200, as you would see on the screen. Neutrality, acceptance, reason, love, joy, peace, enlightenment, all of these things are on the growth mindset that we spoke about. I'm just giving you a chart to prove to you that this has already been scientifically validated. So whenever you are experiencing an emotion that's under 200, you are vibrating on a wrong frequency. And as a result of that, you are setting yourself in motion to attract into your life people, places, circumstances that are within what you are vibrating. So if you're vibrating lack, limitation, anger, you are going to associate yourself with people. You're going to suddenly get the most irritable drivers on the road at any one point in time. Not that you may not get a bad drive if you're feeling good, but the frequency of it happening. So when you are exerting more force than power, your life is in a state of lack. You're experiencing high levels of scarcity. And whatever you are applying is not going to be as successful as you would think. It's like moving along the path. Have you ever heard the saying, the path of least resistance? Do you know that nature moves along the path of least resistance? Our life should be along the path of resistance. So whenever you are resisting, and this takes us to a whole different dimension in terms of mindsets, how do we reconstitute our mindset? We can. Mindset can be changed because it's based on decision. By creating new decisions, you can change. So in order to change your mindset, you have to change your beliefs. Your beliefs affect your thoughts. They affect your emotions. It shapes your behavior through your actions. So in order to change beliefs, you have to make a new decision that is in alignment with what you desire. It's never about how, it's about the why. It is about you coming face to face with what it is that you desire. Understand that you have trauma that you're feeling in your life, that you need to resolve on that, and you need to move beyond. Of course, this particular discussion that we're having does not really truly do all its justice that you think it should, but it's just to remind you of where you are. So if you're experiencing lack and limitation in your life, all of us would have experienced this. You have to work on yourself. So what I'm saying to you, my dear friends, is that personal development is a lifelong journey. It is not something that you tune in today on a team meetup call and hear the information and hear me present it. No, that's just the beginning. It is a lifelong journey. If you want to be successful, you have to identify those areas and you have to start working on it. Of course, New Era with NE50 is just the beginning. It empowers you with things that you need to understand, things that you need to address. Come face to face with the learning. The world we are living in now requires that you must be constantly learning. You need to create new assets. You are the asset. If you want to create wealth and abundance, you have to start working on yourself. And many people downplay this. They might say it's absolutely nonsense, but they don't realize that they're actually playing out their own fixed mindset based on their past traumas. They don't even recognize that they actually have these limiting beliefs. So they can't even change it to begin with. But I'm just talking to someone listening on this call. Perhaps the information, something in the NE50 course. Let it be your staple. You must constantly work on yourself, one day at a time. And by doing so, you will fulfill the lifelong mission of becoming the best version of yourself. I will pause for a cause at this point in time because I don't want to go further. This is a lot of information. We will have continuous conversations on it. Don't worry about it. But at this point in time, I want to ask Michael to unmute. Mike, you could change the settings and allow persons to unmute themselves. We have a couple of persons who I've asked ahead of time to contribute. I would like Denise to start, and we will have Mr. Marlon Modeste and a couple of many other persons who are willing to add to this conversation tonight. So, Mike, over to you. Just unmute and we'll take it from there. Guys, this is the time where I want you to get your input. I want you to tell us whatever you feel like you want to talk about within the context of time and with what we would have discussed over the last couple of weeks. Or if perhaps this is the first time you're hearing this, what comes to your mind? What do you want to say? So, Denise, go right ahead. Not hearing you at all, Denise.
Okay, guys, are you hearing me now?
Loud and clear.
Okay, great. It's so nice to be with you all once again. I love, listening to these presentations and writing. I have my notes I've been writing, and it's really Mr. Pereira, thank you so much for enlightening us into all the ways in which our mindset really can, play tricks and games on us, and how it has been embedded in our DNA coming right down, and what we have to unlearn in order to learn what is new happening now. I would like to share share something with you. Can you allow me to share?
Yes, you are actually co-host, so you can share actually.
Okay, great. So let me see. I'm putting right. Okay, guys, are you seeing this?
Yes, I'm seeing it.
Okay,
Yes,
lovely. Many of us know this chart, the fourth industrial revolution, and the phases that we have been through time coming down. And I just wanted to just show this chart on the industrial revolution timelines and where we are at today. Now, the first industrial revolution happened mostly between mid 1700s to the 1800s, mostly in Britain. And this was the invention of spinning jenny, the water wheel, steam engines, cutting, gin, concrete, steam locomotive, steamboat, steamship, modern roads, batteries, etc. Second industrial revolution started in Europe, North America, and Japan, where they had these inventions after the 1800s to the 1900s, assembly, manufacturing, electric wheels, and all the things, combustion, telephone, telegraph, all of these automobile, typewriters, skyscrapers, and we've seen, these motion pictures. Coming down to the line, the third industrial revolution in the 1900s to the 2000s, which is what was everywhere and which is everywhere: computer programming, machine automation, internet, 3D printing, robotics, Internet of Things, the IoTs, nuclear energy, processors, transistors, radios, and all of that, space research technology. And bam smack, here's where we are in the now, fourth industrial revolution. Now, this is everywhere: machine learning, AI, big data, decision making, cloud computing, predictive programming. Now, I want this to impress in our minds in sharing and in continuance with what Mr. Pereira said earlier on of the mindset. Now, which industrial revolution mindset have we stuck into? It's just a question. And I would like to just impress on each and everyone's mind, when technology came into focus and we started to have credit cards and we started to have debit cards, many of you can attest to this and say, your granny and your great grandma say, I ain't going to get no card. I ain't putting nothing in no machine. I rather hide my money under my bed. I rather see my cash in my hands, and all of these things. Many of us had that experience. I know of some, and even in my family, I knew of some. And then suddenly now they put all religious things into it as well. Some say it's mark of the beast. Some say, oh God, this religion will going to end, and all of these things. We have heard it. We have heard it from time immemorial. But what I'm saying, are we stuck in which industrial revolution are we stuck in? Because there are timelines for everything. There is a transition in, and there is a change that is happening in the revolution of the world today. I'm in the medical field. I am telling you, if I don't update myself and go AI and go into technology and mindset technology as well, I will become dinosaur and obsolete. And many of us are holding on to these timelines. So I'm just here to share that it don't bite you to learn. You can get on learning. The internet is not hard. My mom is in her late 70s. And my mom, I could have seen, I would use my own experience with my family, and maybe it might help some of you on this call tonight, that we don't need to stick in a zone or in an age. We need to move with the times. And, you know, she lives abroad. Roderick and I, hi, Roderick, good night. It's nice to have you. I know you came in late. Don't feel bad I didn't wheel out anybody, but we shared a nice little relationship when I was in the US visiting my mom when she was ill in May 2024. And I would say this with passion. The business that got me to my mom, because many of you, I didn't born with a gold spoon in my mouth, but there was an emergency that happened with my mom, a medical emergency. And there is I've been in a business before. I'm still in it. I don't want to call names, but we are talking about education and how the system, how things can change our lives forever. And I was able to jump on a plane in 24-hour MLM, multi-level marketing, in 24 hours. You know our situation in Trinidad where we have Forex issues. And I was in St Lucia at the time, so God be praised. I was able to get US in 24 hours because of that company. And Mr. Michael Amman was very, you know, in there with me, helping me to get airline tickets quickly within that amount of space and time. And do you know something? If I was like 5 years in the earlier retracking, I would have been sitting thinking, oh my gosh, how I'm going to get money to go to my mom, and be crying and pulling all the gray hairs out of my head to know how I can reach there. And I can tell you, MLM has made it possible for me to get there. I don't know your story, and I don't know where you've been and where you are, but I can tell you, you see, these business that we are in, learning and earning, it was able to get me on a plane in 24 hours. So I could be with Mass General Hospital, but my mom at her side. And with extra not thinking, when I come back home, I have to pay a loan or a bill I took from a bank. All right. So when you see me speak with this kind of passion and this kind of force, is because I have experienced it. I know when I had zilch, nothing. Peoples in my life could understand where I've been, and I am being real people. I am not on no hype when it comes to MLM companies, because when I get involved in it, I share it with others, and I have a reputation to hold. And I can know many of you in this room can share that same passion that I am sharing right now. And I can say this to you, people, we need to change the mindset that we have, or else we are not going to move forward. And I keep saying this nice word I like, we are not going to become dinosaurs. So whatever industrial revolution age you're stuck in, I advise you right now to start steaming your way out of that and get into the now, because you don't have time, people. Time is moving fast and furious, and we don't have time. When you sit down and look at your age at this point in life, and you know, okay, biblically, 70 years, all right? And you look at the age that you have now. Folks, I'm in my late 50s, all right? Okay, yes, I look great because I am, right, okay. And I am saying to you guys that you don't have long. You don't have long to live. Many of you may be in your 30s or whatever, or earlier. But even though time is moving and we don't have time, we need to leave a legacy behind. And I told my family members and my 2 children that I have, that I love dearly, which are on the call tonight, at the ages of 20 and 11 that I can leave a legacy behind for them. And I am putting my picture up bold and bold in the foyer of my living room. You know why? Because anybody pass through that after me and they see that picture, they can look at it and say, that is the woman who left a legacy behind for her great-grands and grands to come. And that is what we all need to aspire to achieve. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have money, you have a problem. You do have a problem. And I can safely say, where I am right now, that the cost to visit a hospital here for 2 nights is 7,000 EC for 2 nights. You get 2 Panadol, a glass of water to drink, and you lie down in a bed. They ain't doing no tests for you unless when they bring that machine and they swipe that card, they're doing nothing for you. So you lay down there and die. All right. So I speak with passion coming from this tonight, and I'm going to share something with you. I practice the 3 E's in helping people: empower, enlighten, and enlarge. What it means to empower. Empower means to share, ask what it is all about. About 25 years ago, I started with Buckmeyer Agency, Algico. It was Algico, American Life Insurance. I just took it after I left high school because I had nothing to do. And I knew friends of friends. And I decided, hey, well, let me get involved in it. Right now, I would have been passed around the table. Because you know what? I will say this to you. See, when you have a passion and a force and a will to do something in life, because as I said before, I didn't born with a gold spoon in my mouth. All my parents gave me was an education, and I took it and run with it. You understand? So at the end of the day, if I can do it, anybody can, because many people have left their homes to go in a different land to work, to help their families back where they are. Ain't it time we bring our parents back home? Ain't it time we make enough money to say, Mommy, you can stay home? That's my dream and my goal. And I've seen it happen. So if I can do it, folks, you can. All right? Gone are the days when if I coulda, woulda. We don't need to have those conversations. We need to be mentally focused and moving. So empower. You see the need for somebody. At that point in time, there was only selling life insurance, folks. And I had to sell like a $1 million insurance because we know what happens after 10, 20 years coming up the road. It evaluates. Your money don't grow and evaluate. It devalues. All right? So I had to try and sell that. As a rookie, as a young person, I couldn't even get a contract because I was too young, right? So I decided that I'm going outside there to ask everybody that I meet what works for them. What would they like work for them? Because we know when you sell life insurance, it's only when you're dead, your family members will get it. You can't even use it while you're alive, all right? So moving forward, I found 20 persons who told me in one day what they would like to have, discuss, and work for them. And I went and I brought all the information to the agent that month in. And I told him, I said, sir, I want something to work for the people. Even though we have it for debt, I want something to work for the people. Is there something that we have to work for the people? He sat and he looked at me. He said, no. At that point, no, they didn't have it. I said, so can we make something that can work for the people? A 2-year, a 1 year, a 3 years, because here's what they wanted. Some of them have children to go to school. Some needed to health things happen, life happens, and you need a little 5,000 quickly to run to the hospital, medical bills, which is mostly what happens to all of us, right? And so forth. And he sat down. He said, give me a week. He sat down. And do you know, out of that came endowment policies. He had a 3-year, a 5-year, and a 10-year plan. And that year, I sold 10-year plans, cash in hand, check in hand. I came in every customer because here's what, I sit down and I listen. Many times we want to talk, and we talk out the sale. And this is what I did. I sit and listen to their needs. I sit and listen. You know, I don't have money to send my child when he leaves at going to high school, and they need a little extra cash. And making a long story short, I didn't stay with them because that was my deal. I was more into helping people as a healer. And I just went in. He told me, he said, I'm sorry you ever left here, because I alone in the trainee program brought in a year and 2 years cash in hand for that company, just selling endowment policies. So empower, enlighten. Now that you find what your people want, whatever you are selling, make sure people buy from who they like. If you're looking grouchy and grumpy and you look like you wash your face in lemon juice, nobody ain't going to even look at you. A smile goes a long way. You see children with the parent, you could know they're going through a hard day. You say hi to the little ones. How you doing, mommy? How you doing, daddy? We have to bring back those days. All right. Love is what we need to project at this time, because there is none. Nobody feels and cares for anybody anymore. And now that we are in this group and this wonderful team together, 90% of you are on this call tonight that I have worked closely with. And by extension, there are new invitees on this call here as well. And I just want to encourage you all. We are a team. We are a people that works together. QueenZ, the first time I saw QueenZ, I fell in love with her. You know why? Because she has heart. She has people. She don't have to stay every morning and show us how to trade. She don't have to stay every day and she sends me messages, personal messages on my phone to let me know that something is happening. She could have been doing a gazillion other things because she has a huge team. But folks, this unit, we care for each other. And as I said, I am not on hype. I am not selling you anything. I am teaching you how to fish so you can have food for your life. And this is one thing I don't like, is beggars and leechers. So I am telling you, if we can help you get to that level. There was someone that I was training with, and he said, I can't talk at all. I say, but you just walk your pumpek in the road every day, right? Anybody you meet, you say hi, hello. So that's all you need. Don't say nothing. And put the information around the dog collar and say, I'm giving you this. And they will listen and read, and they will call you back. So there are lots of ways in which you can bring somebody to the table to eat. So you empower, enlighten, and now you enlarge. Enlarge means that you grow with your people and you bring in more people. That is how the business grows. If we cannot grow our people and teach our people, you know, we have people that sign up with big packages in a business. Now, I don't need to sound, very critical, but there are networkers and there are networkers. And they want to bring in everybody they can in the biggest package and make the big funds in hand. And then when you're calling them 2 days after, you can't hear them, their phone switching off, or they're numbing your phone, or they're blanking you, or all kind of thing. No, you're green in the business, they get the big sum and they run away with it, and now they leave you hang up. Enlighten, empower, and enlarge. So this is what we need to do, work with our people. So I just want to share a little something with you. And I want to talk about when you are internal, then and only then you are in a position to give back to others. And what that simply means, a starving man cannot feed another starving man. You must become self-sufficient to be able to help those around you. The first thing it is here when you're flying in an airplane, if in difficulty and the mask fall, put on the oxygen mask over you. When you oxygenated, then you could help somebody. You're scrambling and fixing, it sounds selfish, but you're scrambling and fixing somebody else. They might live and you dead in the end. And you could have helped more than just one, because everybody panics. So when you can be self-sufficient, then you can teach somebody else how to fish, because you learn it well. That's the foundation of anything that we need to start with. All right? And now you know how to increase your emotional currency. And this is what I want to talk to you guys about. What is your emotional currency? You are able to tap into all your currencies: mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, financial, mental, emotional, physical, financial. To build relationships to riches, that is what you need. So let me ask your questions. I'm reading out what is your 5 financial currency. 1, rate your currencies from your strongest to your weakest. What you do feel is your strongest currency. Is it mental? Is it emotional, spiritual, physical, or financial? Rate them. And what currency in the 5 that you have rated, you have the most to exchange with others? Second, get close on what you really want. Many people, I want this, I want that, I'm not sure. You know, and you know, people cannot fathom money. Eh? You tell them anything over 10,000, they can't go over that. So we have to change that mindset. All right. Most people cannot answer this question. What you really want. Get clear of what you really want. They might say, I want to be happy. Folks have to read from a note, sir. I can't even understand it now. Or I want to make more money, which is mostly on everybody's tongue, right? Or you want to be more healthy, because you could be wealthy and unhealthy, and you could be healthy and not wealthy. So the both goes hand in hand. That's my model. That's my motto. All right. But why do they want those things? Why we want these things? We keep asking ourselves, why? Larry spoke about the whys and the hows. Okay. Until you get to your core desire, you cannot hit a target you cannot see. Let that sink in. 3, identify who has what you want. Many of us are one-man island. Or I don't need him to help me. They're going to see my position. They're going to think I dunce. They'll think I don't know what I'm doing. Pride and ego. Well, I was never prettiest and egotistical, because when I see somebody who has something that I want to learn from, I ask him. Ask Jillian. She will tell you. She might be laughing there in the background, right? And I have introduced Jillian to a heap of things. And now I goes to Jillian now, because the next way turn around. Michael, the same thing. Mr. Pereira, the same thing. I don't know everything. I need a team behind me to help me get and achieve what I need. Who do you know who has what you want? Who could help you get an introduction to the person who has what you want? How many of us want to talk to the big boy, and we had to walk up some steps to get to the big boy? Marlon Modeste, if you're on the call, we ever have laughs with that, because we had to bypass to get, we see that person have what we have, but we following protocol in a certain way. So we have to step up the ladder, you understand? But we are all here to help you, and it was not easy, it was not hard to do. All right? Too often we go to the wrong person to get the advice we seek. How many of us have fallen prey to that? Well, personally, for me, learning over 25 plus years, I have grown to a point, and I always tell people, and there's always an innate in you, that you will say, if you want to sell diamonds, would you go to a carpenter to learn about diamonds and precious jewels? I think not. Then you have to really be dunce to do that. Because what a carpenter could only tell you about wood, he could only tell you about this type of wood, hardwood, softwood, big wood, long wood, all kind of wood. But he can't talk about diamonds, precious jewels, because he don't have the know-how. So we need to go to the source of who can teach us these things. 4th, exchange your currency with others. Well, in this case, when we are networking, we find out what other people need. I spoke about that earlier. Then solve their problem by using your currencies. This is how top entrepreneurs create wealth. We're talking about wealth, creation of wealth mindset, right? And fifth, reinvest in your currencies. The way to create massive wealth is through compound interest. Compound interest allows you to reinvest your gains over and over again. How many times we have this mentality? Because you never earn a gazillion dollars in one run. So the first thing you want to do is go buy this, buy that, pay off your loan, do this, do that. Many people we have known personally who won the lotto. And at the end of 30 days, they had zilch money. There was a typical example of a guy who was a gardener and he was selling in a market. I'm not going to call names. And where? And he won the lottery. He buy champagne and bathe his can, everything, wine, dine, leave his poor wife and all kind of thing. After 30 days, he had no money. Back again, he's selling potato in the market. It was a big laugh. You know why? Because he still had to go back and beg the woman who lived with him for how many years to come back in the house. So we don't have the financial intelligence to reinvest. Because when we make the money, we want to spend it into the things that we have. So this is why when you make money, as Mr. Pereira always says, it's not about how much you make, but how much you keep. So you have to invest it. Go pay somebody to teach you financial intelligence. And we have it for free. Who don't like free? We truly like free. You hear free? Boy, the bust down the place. Free. So last but not least, I love you guys. You can strengthen any one of your 5 currencies, revisit them over and over. And by investing and then reinvesting. For example, if you want to increase your spiritual currency, you can pray, do something that builds faith, or read a spiritual book. To increase your physical currency, go to a gym, eat a healthy diet, or change your schedule to allow you to be more present and available to others. How many of us running down the big buck and we are leaving our family behind? You're not spending time with your children. You're not even happy within yourself as well. And it suffers. They suffer because they're going to grow up and say, but Daddy was never wrong with me. What are you trying to tell me now? Take time. We can, people. We can. Financial currency can be strengthened by saving a little more each day, paying down debt, or making sound investment. Don't study, make the borrower your slave. You're borrowing. Mental currency increases when you study new topics. Many of us say, and I've been hearing it, well, me are too old to learn, because I had to be learning everything every day because technology is moving in a way. Quantum medicine is moving. That's my field. So I have to be on par with everything new that's come out. You hear people say, you see me? Who's telling you to come and teach me that? You too young. You can't teach me nothing. How many of us hear that? Memorize people's names or learn something new. Study new topics. Our emotional currency increases when we give service or offer gratitude to each other. You cannot give what you don't have. You cannot give what you don't have. So learn. The secret to building relationships to riches is to constantly reinvest in yourself and in your 5 currencies. I remember Mr. Pereira, my upline and sponsor in most businesses, because we always share things with each other when we see something good happening. And he would always tell me this: reinvest, constantly invest in yourself. Denise/Joy. Joy, everybody knows me as, right? And in your 5 currencies, as this will increase your confidence, strength, and value in this world. Do you know you get paid for what you are worth, your value, not because you work in a company for 20-umpteen years and somebody now green come out of school, you find the salary higher than yours? Do you know why? Because they are paid for what they are worth. On that note, I leave you guys. I love you. And my tagline is continue to lead with love. Back over to you, Michael.
Wow, wow, wow. That was truly amazing. That extends actually the whole theme of right thinking. And when we talk about right thinking, we're not talking about knowing what to write, right? Thinking about what to write. Right thinking is, of course, having the right mindset, and of course, making sure you're in the right industrial revolution. So we have had one speaker on target. That's Larry. Another speaker who has been on target. That's Denise. And we have a third one. A third guest, and who can that guest be? I'd like to invite a guest to come on and say something. Maybe, I don't know if QueenZ, if she's on the line, if she has any contribution she'd like to make.
Before that, Mike, Marlon Modeste. Yeah. Marlon Modeste.
Marlon Modeste.
Yes.
Right, okay. Marlon Modeste. Right. Wow. Here's the third one. Go ahead. All right.
Wow.
Sorry. Yeah. Marlon, go ahead.
Denise, you mash it up fine like chili, baby. What should I say?
She did.
Larry, if I have to talk again next time, put me before Denise, okay? I think Denise said every single thing. QueenZ, I'm sure you could agree with me when she said everything.
100%, yeah.
Stay on the line, QueenZ. I could be so short. Wow. I was saying, sign me up again, yes? So my contribution tonight is looking back at 23 years in networking, and I remember two major things. I was green. All I wanted was money to pay bills back at that time, but no personal development. So over the years, we have a large, almost every book that you could think about in networking or personal development, we have them. And it has been a journey for us. And there's a saying, then when things are hard, the flow with the glow brings the cash flow. The glow with the flow brings the cash flow. The flow with the glow. So you have to send that energy to the ether. And I remember one of my network marketing, personal development, one of the guys who would have through special forces and so forth, and he took us through some walks. And Denise was saying it, and then Michael nailed it, and then Larry come on, was giving us the first part of it. It was the fourth principle of marksmanship. When it aiming at a target, the company has a target, right? And somehow Queen Zoe walked all the way through the Caribbean and come down here. And she don't know that we love to hit targets. So in the principle of what Denise would have said and Larry, I'm just saying the fourth principle, and this is from Sandhurst Military School, right? He born in Tobago, went to Sandhurst Military School, get the information, and is sharing it with us now at a leadership program, right? Back in 2006, those who remember, right? And that was one of our first companies, Zango. That was back 2002, 2003, right? But we in this leadership program, I know how we reach up inside there, 50,000 US. It's not free. It wasn't free. And one night, one of the presenters, local and international, one night, the presenter said, the fourth principle of marksmanship, the shot, the aiming. So if we aim it at 100 million, 200 million, most of you all may not know, but I'll tell you one secret too as well. I on record, whatever it is, to log into almost everything, I have my digital number set. I'm always typing that in. Why do you think I hit all my targets? So if my target is for 45 million, 75 million, 80 million, 200 million, 2 billion, people say, you type all them zeros in? Yes, I do. And I put some other codes in between, in and out. And I said that. So my brain is being programmed. So hear what he said. The fourth principle of marksmanship, this is from Sanders Military School. The shot must be fired and followed through without disturbing the aim of the pitcher. So you're seeing a pitcher there and you want to hit a target. Your company, those who know about hitting the monthly goals. Well, two things that Mr. Abraham said, and then that nearly freaked me out. You could ask those who were at Hilton that night. He said, it does not flush. It flushes at the end of the year. I just jumped. I said, what? It don't flush anymore? I said, no. I say, if we hit again. So the fourth principle, the shot must be fired and followed through without disturbing the aim of the pitcher. So your target, if it's 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, a million, 2 million, 5 million, whatever is your target. Once you have that there and you're aiming at that focus and you're there, and like a horse in a race, nothing can stop you. You will hit that target. Bow! Shot! Oh God, sorry if you was driving. But that's how you hit the target. You hit the target running through the target before the timeline because your energy and your focus is there right through. Michael could tell you, I used to focus on only one company. I never focused on more than one company. Or those who know me for the last 20 years, it's either one company. I married once, I stayed with one woman, right? And let me swing it the next way now. Because of what has happened the last 3-4 years, and Dini spoke about it, my mind is open more now to looking at other companies. I never used to look at other companies. And if I didn't open my mind, what is happening right now, I would have missed all the boats. I would have known about it 5 or 10 years after. And I would have said, so how come you never tell me about it? Because if my mind was close to other companies, so now I am zoning and focusing on 2 or 3 companies. Personally, for me, 2 or 3 companies that I believe that are running hardcore and could reach my people to 1 million, to 2 million, to 3 million, to 5 million, to 10 million in the next 2 to 5 years. If they set their target, write down their goal. My goal is on my phone. Every day I'm seeing that goal slamming there on it, something called general management. You can put your goal down there, watch at it every single day and chant it. It doesn't matter if in 2 minutes of traffic, 5 minutes, 10 minutes of traffic, it doesn't matter. You are chanting and watching your subliminal programming, what Larry first spoke about. Larry first spoke about, I said, yes, that energy is what I needed right now. To keep, we work hard all day, but we need a little energy, that little. They go to the gas station to get what? To get petrol or get gas. And this is our gas stop right now. Every Wednesday night, this is our gas stop. So thanks again, guys. I just want to say it is a pleasure being on this call. Shalom. Peace to you and your family.
Okay, thank you very much, Marlon. Thank you very much. And at this time, I'd like to invite QueenZ as well. Follow up, if you can.
Oh my God. What can I say, Michael? Like, seriously. Well, Denise, you nailed it. Like, when I said nailed it, I love you too, by the way. I love you too. It's so sad. When I sit here and I listen, everything that is going on, like, everything that been said, one of the most important thing that we have to acknowledge is that, we're bringing out the best and the beauty of that 50 program. We're bringing out the best and the beauty out of it because everything that I'm listening to is teaching you how to drive yourself to success inside of that program. Because I remember the first day, Michael, when I decided to look at that particular program in any, to be honest, like I couldn't lay in my comfort zone. I was laying down, I was reading, I was trying to go through it to a certain point, and when I realized that something kept on saying, you have to write this down, you have to write this down. And to be honest, it was so late in the night, so I didn't want to get up, right? But every point of it pointed out to me grabbing a book and a paper, a book and a pencil, And then later on, when I get to Vancouver, I can transfer it into my notes. But, when I got up and I started to write, it's like I couldn't stop writing. And as we said, Marlon just said it a while ago, when I heard about points don't flush, you don't even know what went through my mind. I see myself right at the top of the complan. So in that note, I had to write down everything. Everything from the beginning. I target myself that year. I said I have to end the year with, where the residuals start, because you guys have to understand what the word residual mean. It's not just at the tip of our tongue. The word residual is very deep, because, I can do that with trading. So for trading, from me, is residual too, because I can set something into the market and just let it stay there and get up and be very surprised and be very happy in the morning, right? But I listen to everything that is going on. I hear Denny's come out with so many different, points that she made about, people in this world need to get out of their comfort zone. A lot of people are so comfortable with going to work, coming back home, cook the dinner, go to bed, get up in the morning, go to work. And if you count how many times you do that for the year, the same thing over and over. And I mean, a lot of people get out of the way and, they travel and they spend time with family. And even that is better than just the same routine over and over. Routine is good, but it depends on what your routine to do, right? But I can personally say for myself, I know my journey. I always have to set goal. I'm never comfortable in where I'm at. If as long as there's more to achieve, I'm gonna go for it. It doesn't matter what it takes. It doesn't matter, when it takes. And I can tell you, when I write out my goal, I wrote it right up until I complete that chart, that plan, unless Salman decide to go with more, and then I'm gonna challenge myself after that, and I'll go ahead and write after that. But I can tell you guys, to be honest, I heard, I was online this morning. We finished our, our one session for our Forex course. And it was such a beautiful night. I think this morning, actually, it feel like night because I was up. But it was such a beautiful, thing that we were going on to, midnight for some people. But I can tell you, still night for me, but I can tell you, when we finished that session, it was such a beautiful thing with the community coming together, educating themselves together, understanding something that has been in the world for over 300 years and we don't know nothing about it, right? And now as a community, we can go online and we can make money together in the middle of the morning, and some people can choose not to go work if they don't want to. That is, people don't understand how much strength is in that. That alone itself is strength. And life is not about money. Life is about journey and prosperity and family and everything like that. But at the end of the day, we have to understand the time that we are in, and the time that we're in is not a nice time. We are calculated risk towards so many different things that can happen to us. And one of them was COVID, which turned my life around. And I bless COVID in a sense, and then I curse it in another sense, because it took out my aunt, it took out a lot of people in my life, right? People that I know, people that I was close to. But you know what? It teach me something too. It teach me not to wait on time, and that time becomes the old of me. Like I have to become the older time, right? And we have to understand that what we have here and what we have in other places too, like as Marlon said, you're not gonna dedicate yourself. You're not gonna dedicate yourself to one company. I say that myself too, because I was so dedicated to one place, just going. I'm not a one person, neither one man show, going either. But at that time, I was so driven and I was just going and going and going. I go to the top where I tell myself, I'm gonna make sure this company pay all my bills. And I'm talking mortgages. I'm not talking about one mortgage or two mortgages. I'm talking about everything that I was paying as a bill. I decided I was going to work this company until it pays that bill. And I brought myself to that stage when it was doing so. So can you just imagine if something happened now? What happened? If something happened at that time, what do I do from there? I'm not going to sit down and lay eggs. I'm going to get up and I'm going to make sure that the next time I'm not caught into that position where I'm depending on one thing or one person or anything. And what I don't understand is the people that is complacent in where they're at. And they still here, they're waiting and they're watching the journey go by and not moving. That I don't understand, right? I basically bring myself to the stage where I tell myself, in this life, anything can happen. And as Denny said before, you leave this world, you're gonna make sure you leave a legacy for your family. That's so important because their journey is not gonna be nice at all unless you teach them the right path. You show them different ways to step out of their comfort zone and make sure if you go in a car to sit down and drive and nobody's in there to drive, it's not gonna move. And I always apply myself to a baby stage. I always say, if you take it, God have a reason why he show us from baby stage that we have to get up and walk. No matter what, we burst our face up, we burst our lips. You take a look at a baby. I don't even think they understand what they're doing when they're, taking themselves to the next level and the next level to get up and walk, right? At point in time, we need to become the baby stage so we can realize that nothing should hold us down. Nothing should hold us down. I really love this session. Larry, I remember the time when we talk about it and, we were in the same mindset at the same time. And I share that with you and, you share that with me. And to be honest, it's nice to look and see so many people online and just listening in because I know a lot of people walk away with a lot of things from what is being said. I am walking away with so much that Denny said, so much that Larry said, and so much that Marlon said just now. And to be honest, I'm still learning, I'm still growing, but nothing, I can tell you nothing, and no one will hold me back or hold me down. Right? Thank you guys for the little moment, right?
Okay, thank you very much, QueenZ, as well. And wow, that is an awesome wrap up for everything there. And I just want to say that this is a little a picture of a part of my house, and you can see, as far as right thinking, right mindset, of course, as Larry was referring to at the start, basically is what is your target? Applying this to your life. What is it that you want to hit? What is it that you're aiming for? And notice the placement of this dartboard. It's right by a staircase. In other words, there are steps that one will have to take if you want to get closer to your target, right? And one of the things that you'd have to go through, one of those steps is actually having the right mindset and put in the elements. Make sure that you're in the right industrial age, as you say. What level are you at in getting to your mindset? And of course, if you're going to be searching for the target without disturbing the surroundings, you need to hit there. Or if your target is here, because some people want to have a wider range, you hit there, right? And if you want to hit there, you don't want to be disturbing anything else there. You're not going to be targeting all over the place. You want to hit there, that is where you want to go, right? And that is the level of thinking. Now, all of this here, to bring it together, are elements or expanding what is taught in what we call the NE 50 Fundamentals, Entrepreneurial and Personal Development course that one can get from New Era Academy, all right? Everyone who participates in any course in New Era Academy gets access to this NE 50, and I'll encourage everyone to participate. If you didn't do so before, it goes into the structure of achieving these goals as well, right? So want to thank everybody for coming on the call.
Oh, Michael, 1 second. We have the VP.
Larry.
Yeah, we have
Larry,
the VP. Yes.
Oh, yes.
We have Mr. Ebrahim, who is on the
before,
call.
Yes. So I'd like to invite Mr. Ebrahim, who is the Vice President of Sales, who was also here in the Caribbean, in Trinidad and Jamaica and the Bahamas, to say a few words as well. Mr. Ebrahim.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much. Larry, thank you for setting this up, and thank you for all the speakers sharing. This is amazing. Just been, been busy ever since we got back, just getting things done. I want to share a little bit about something that happened to me when I was um, initially starting out with New Era. I have a friend of mine, his wife does numerology. Like she, does her number of things. So I sat down with her and I talked to her and I asked her one question. This was something that was holding me back. I told her because in my life growing up, everybody the main thing that I heard was money was the root of all evil. Money is this, money is that, right? So when I was talking to her, and money changes you, money changes people's heart, and when I sat down and I talked to her, I said, I'm scared. I'm scared to be rich. I'm scared to be at a position like that because I don't want my heart to change. I don't want to change. I don't want this money to change who I am. And I wasn't thinking clearly. And when she said one thing, she said, "You stay who you are. You just become more bigger in what you are." So she said that don't worry. If you're a giver, the more money you get, the more you're gonna give out. And that kind of really stick to me. She's like, it doesn't change you unless otherwise you decide it changes you. So after that, I started praying to God. I said, God, give me abundance, but never change my heart. Always be let my position always be in the given hand, in the given part of it. So it is so true. What you think, what you manifest, what you talk about, what you say, your body. When people say when you're sick, don't tell your body you're sick. Don't start saying, "Oh, I'm so sick. I'm so sick." Your body listens, and your body goes, "Oh, shoot, I am sick." When you say everything is great, I'm fine. I could move forward. So those are things. But a lot of people need to in this business. It takes a whole lot of you, right? I I shared this story. I'm gonna, when I was building my network marketing business back in 2015, um, I was leaving for another country to go there and to not a country but another city. It was about 12 hours away from here, to build my business. And my wife was pregnant that time with my daughter, and I wasn't expecting my daughter till another week or 10 days. So I said, I gotta go do an event. I gotta do something. And I tell you, the minute I got there that night, my wife went into labor. And she calls me up and she's like, I gotta go to the hospital. I'm in labor. Thank God, my parents are with me. They stay with me. That my mom was able to take her. I called her up. I said, listen, I'm booking a flight back. And she said, no, do what you gotta do. Because our daughter might not remember you being there on her birth, but she'll always remember you being there for her for life. And it was just so powerful. Like I started to cry. Like I was just so emotionally, like, uh, be blessed with somebody, a partner like that. And I share that story because this is what it takes to be where you're at. This is what it takes. We got people that can't even miss birthdays, and they're not even their own birthday, somebody else's birthday. Then to work on their business, to work on what they're doing. I it took a lot of sacrifice, it took a lot of time. I gave myself a goal. Since we were talking about goals and target, I gave myself a goal. At the age of 40, I am retiring. Retiring doesn't mean that I just relax and go play golf and that's it. Retiring from being distressed about finance. Retirement means getting up in the morning knowing all your bills are paid, knowing that you don't have to worry about where your next paycheck is going to come from. Financial freedom does not mean that you got to have millions of dollars in your bank account. Financial freedom means when you get up in the morning, everything is taken care of. Your bills are paid, your mortgage is paid, whatever you got is paid. That is financial freedom. I got to take my daughter on her birthday. She wanted to go to Disneyland. I flew her to Paris to go to Disneyland because I could. And those are the memories that we were building together. My son wanted to, on his birthday, be at Burj Khalifa. We were at Burj Khalifa on his birthday. Why? Because we could do it. Listen, life is short, and I'm telling you, like, knowing I have few friends that passed away at a young age. Death has no age. But the time that we're living in right now, things that are happening, if we're struggling right now, what are we going to leave our kids? Struggles. So it's time to build something. It's time to really, really build something, truly build the skill set, give them the opportunity. Joy, you said your son, 11-year-old, is on this call. That's amazing. That's where you want to start. My daughter is 8, and she's already started into this. We got to give them the skill set. We got to give them a way of growing. Same thing. I got many passive incomes, but during COVID time, I really bunkered myself down. And I said, I have to. So, it's not about, going out there and, use your time wisely. A lot of people are busy. They go, we're busy. Busy doing what? Right. There's good busy and there's bad busy. You got to figure that out. So, I mean, this is an amazing call. I love this. This is the energy that keeps you going. This is the energy that I used to get every Saturday when I used to go to the event. There used to be an event every Saturday morning. I was there. I was paying like $10 every time I was there. It was the same information. But when I left from the event every Saturday, that Saturday, 12 noon, I just wanted to go out there and just tell the whole world what I was doing. So you got to stay connected. You got to keep moving forward. Stay positive. Now I stay so positive that any negative, I always think about there's always something better. God did this because there's always something better. So, everything that happens is a life lesson. If you can learn from it, great. If you didn't, then you're losing. Some lessons are good, some lessons are bad, some lessons are hard, some lessons are soft. But when you tell yourself enough is enough, it's time to move forward, and you really set your goals, create your vision board. We do every month, we tend to do a vision board training, just open to everybody. And when they set their vision, we ask them, how do you can achieve it? What vehicle you want to get? And then we talk about what we have. If they like it, great, you're welcome on board. If you don't like it, no problem. At least we got you thinking about your vision. At least we got you going in the right direction. I'm going to be coming back next, not in March, but in April. CEO wants me to come back for about a month. So I'm going to be spending a little bit more time with you, really building a structure. We had a talk with him a few days ago. He does want to set up an office out in the 3 islands. So we're looking, and these offices are not sales offices. We're not opening sales offices, but training where you could physically go. Because I like physically connecting with people. Zoom is great and made made life a little bit easier. But when you see people face to face, eye to eye, and when you sit there, you break bread, you shake their hands, and you really, that comfort is just to the next level. I loved it when I came there. I love the hospitality. I love the way everybody came together and we worked together. I mean, that is something honestly is missing out here. There is in North America, like in Canada and in the US, that the unity, that the oneness is real limited. And I just love the way that people got together and we were just sitting there and just talking. That was amazing. That is something that gave us energy back, and we loved it when we were out there. Me and QueenZ really enjoyed it. We can't wait to get back to you guys. I love this call. This is amazing. I'm gonna be promoting this more to our groups because everybody needs to hear this. This is something that, a place of belonging for people, regardless of if you're in the business or not. You are more than welcome to come and listen in, because a small word could enlighten a lot of people. So I want to thank Larry for setting this up, Michael for setting this up, and all the speakers that came on. Can't wait to be with you guys again. And this is amazing. Thank you.
All right. Wow. Thank you so much, Ebrahim. Really adds to the theme, and really looking forward to seeing you back in the region again. Thank you so much. Yeah, so folks, as I explained at the beginning, this session is not about a business and compensation plan, and it's just about getting back to our core, right? Getting back to the right thinking, right? So want to thank you all for coming on the call. I don't know if we may probably be able to take, I don't know, Larry, maybe, but just if is there anyone else that
Sure.
that had to.
I think Michael, in all fairness, I did see Jillian raise her hand, so perhaps maybe we could
Right.
just for a few minutes before we close off.
Right, good. Okay, Jillian. Go right ahead, Jillian.
Good night. Good night. Just a quick word. Everybody covered it to the T. What I wanted to say is what the traumas that we go through, we latch on to something called fear. And because we latch on to that for our safety net, we allow ourselves not to think or to create that peace that we all deserve. Failure is not a bad thing. It's a good thing because you learn from it and you know what not to do. So the next step you make, if I go this way, this is what's going to happen. So you take the other direction. So failure is a good thing. To success, you're able to fail to know where you're going to succeed. So embrace that. Don't be shy of it. And that's where we learn. So it's a learning process. That's all I wanted to say, that we should not allow fear to control us. Thank you guys so much. And it was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful evening. My first time on this call. I would definitely see you guys again.
All right, thank you. And acknowledged. Yes, and yes, the call was in fact recorded. So persons who didn't get a chance to come on, or you came in midway, you can actually get a chance to catch up with what was shared before. So, right. So that's what the theme is all about for this evening for Wednesday calls. So I want to hand over to Larry again to wrap up, and let's move on out from there.
Thanks again, Michael. Yes, definitely. Thank you so much, Mike. Mr. Ebrahim, QueenZ, Denise definitely needed. Marlon Modeste, amazing contributions. We all contribute and we all add that space. As Mr. Ebrahim would have rightfully said, we need to establish a community point where we all can come together and agree, because we all need each other. I don't pretend to know everything, nobody does. But every time we contribute to calls like this, it gives us a little more. It helps push our mindset to a whole different level to be able to accomplish, because you might be saying, I wonder if I could do this. I wonder if I could be like QueenZ, or I wonder if I could be like Marlon Modeste or Denise. Yes, you can. You don't have to be like anybody else. All you need to do is to understand who you are and just be you. You know why? Because if you look at your fingers, that fingerprint, there's nobody else that actually has a fingerprint like you. You are an original. There's no copy. And these calls, guys, is to empower you. And as Abraham rightfully said, you want to be able to have the freedom to do what you want, when you want, for your family. That's the legacy you're looking for. So before we end, Abraham, I don't know if it is feasible for you for us to arrange to do that the dream board that you mentioned. If you're doing one in the month of March, you could let us know. Or if perhaps you are willing to do one in one of our time slots, we could definitely put that slot in, so that persons now that we talked about mindset and goal setting, it might be the right move, because I couldn't make it for the last time. I know you guys were doing it. I kind of missed it. So perhaps we could see how your timing allows.
Definitely. I'll set that up. I'm gonna get Kim and Mandy. They're the main leads in that. I will get them to get on a call. Let's set up a time, and then definitely we could do it with their availability. Let's do something this week.
Maybe we could do it on a Thursday. Yeah, maybe we could do it on a Thursday. Thursday is free.
Okay. Sounds good. I'll message you and I'll set up a time.
We could definitely do something. All right. Thanks again. So guys, thank you so much for attending this call, and for all our participants. This is the Carnival weekend in Trinidad and Tobago. A lot of excitement, a lot of panorama and calypso, and hopefully next time you could organize something with Zoe. Zoe said, oh gosh, she missed Carnival again, you know, so that at least maybe next time, Abraham,
I
we
feel
could take
like
it.
coming.
We could take it. We could take it to Panorama and at least, you know, our national instrument. They say the only instrument that was invented in the 20th century. And listen, it's amazing how these guys play this instrument because many of them, believe it or not, can't really read music as per se, but you will never know when they get behind a pan. It's just amazing.
That's the love of it.
It is the
You
love of
gotta
it.
love what you do.
You gotta love what you do, the passion, and you know that's what you get in the carnival. It's that passion that people want to express themselves. So, guys, on that note, this call is a wrap. I'm looking forward. I'm gonna get that video out either late tonight or early in the morning, post it out to the groups so you can share it. You could share it with anybody. It's not a problem.
Thank you so much.